feels weird because I
they're watching.
Because
go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead.
And say what?
Say hi.
I don't even know how to start it. Or something.
Stop it. Let me drive.
Okay, I've been trying. What was that?
If you're watching this video, it's probably because you have orders to the island of Okinawa in Japan.
And you probably have a million questions, a million thoughts running through your head, kind of like we did. We thought that we would maybe make a video for you guys. It's kind of fresh in our heads, and we want to help everybody out as much as we can.
When we got notified of the assignment, it was kind of nerve-wracking. Did not see it coming at all. Just kind of popped out of the woodwork, and I was kind of forced with a decision. Do I take it, or do I turn it down and then pretty much terminate the rest of my Air Force career?
Yeah.
So we decided to take it, and that's when everything got pretty crazy busy. We had to sell our house, which we were lucky enough to do. We sold it by owner. Maybe I'll make another video about that some other time.
We had to sell both of our cars.
If you're coming here, you're not authorized to bring cars. They'll tell you you are, but the expense is so great that you're just...
Yeah, and you have to pay for it to get over here.
Most people just come over here, buy a kind of an inexpensive car. We spent about $6,000 for 2 cars, and they work great. So there are a lot of dealerships around, and the dealerships have made it very, very easy for us Americans or military or whatever your case may be. When you go to the dealership, a lot of them will deal in American dollars. You don't even have to deal with conversion rates or anything like that. You walk in, they have a price. Most of the time there's some sort of sale going on anyway. You can ask. You can also negotiate and haggle with them a little bit. If you go to a dealership, pretty handy because you give them money, they give you a fully licensed and warranted vehicle. Car insurance over here is very, very affordable, primarily because you're not driving a fancy car, so you can get away with just liability. There's one way to get here. You gotta fly here. Depending on what time of the year you're coming, what branch of service, your rank, there are factors in there where you can be given alternative means to get here other than the rotator. We were given the rotator,
Patriot Express,
Freedom Express, contracted flight done by the military from Seattle. That was what we were given. I have heard of people that were just told to go buy commercial tickets and deal with that on their own. So our perspective is of that of the rotator. One of the things with the rotator is you have to show up crazy early before the flight. I think even like the latest that they wanted us to arrive was about 4 or 5 hours before the flight. So we actually showed up about 9 or 10 hours before the flight.
It's kind of miserable.
Kind of camped out in the airport and tried to be comfortable just so we could try to get good seats. Long story short, our seats were given, so we were all kind of lumped together, and we flew from Seattle to Yokota Air Force Base just outside Tokyo, to Iwakuni, which is down in the southern part of the main island of Japan, and then finally landed here in Okinawa. I think it was a grand total of like 22 hours or something like that of travel.
The main flight, I believe, was like 10 hours, and it was rough, but it wasn't terrible. On the flight, they provide a pillow, blankets, snacks, lunch,
it's
dinner,
just like flying
drinks.
on any. It's just like flying on any commercial airliner.
They play
meals.
movies. They give you speakers. If you get kind of restless, just get up, take a lap, walk around, stretch your legs. It's not terrible. It was a lot smoother than I thought it was going to be. Then when you start plane hopping or getting on and getting off and getting on and getting off, it gets really tiring.
It's pretty daunting. So nevertheless, we were extremely relieved to get to Kadena when we did.
Yeah. When we were in Seattle, the USO gives you, you can go in there and you can get snacks and food, and you can store your luggage there if you need to. It gets crowded really fast, so they do have couches and they do have bunk beds and stuff like that where people can sleep, but it's kind of first come, first serve, so don't bank on being able to get one of those spots. We just went to the USO to kind of eat, get something to drink, and then because of our layover being so long, we ended up getting a hotel room that we could sleep in and kind of take showers and get refreshed for the flight to Japan.
We were making plans to go with a private company that you pay to essentially transport your dog for you, or your cat, or whatever animal you have, which can be kind of expensive, but there are grants out there. Who are those through?
Dogs on Deployment and ASPCA International, and there was a company, Sarah's Pets Paradise. She also had a couple of links that she gave us that we could check out for grants in order to help get our dog over there. So
we were planning on going that way, and then like a week or two before the actual flight, I got a call from the PAX terminal at the base that we left, and they said, congratulations, somebody's reservation dropped off. When you travel with a dog on an AMC flight, it is not completely free. They do charge you a fee. I want to say it was $250 or $300 that we had to pay.
We also had to pay out of our own pocket to get our dog from Omaha to Seattle. That was at our own expense as well, and that was about $500.
Any amount of travel that it takes to get to the rotator is going to be out of your pocket, but that'll get them to all the way to the base, and then you can deal with the quarantine stuff upon arrival.
Also, you're allowed to go out and see your pet, take them to the bathroom, give them a little bit of water, interact with them just to make sure that, they're okay, and check in on them. And so I know that was a big concern of ours, is that we wanted to make sure our dog was okay, and you're able to do that.
The difference between PCSing overseas versus stateside is that there is a very well-developed sponsorship program that is in place. When we arrived, they had arranged for 3 vehicles to pick us up at the airport because you're going to have a ton of luggage. We had a big dog cage,
we had car seats, strollers. I mean, we brought the kitchen sink practically.
Yeah. So our 2 kids that were grumpy and tired ourselves. So they had 3 people pick us up at the airport, got all of our luggage and everything, and they took us back to the hotel, which they had already checked into for us. Mm-hmm. So we didn't have to deal with standing at the counter being tired after 20 some odd hours of travel.
Yeah.
Got us checked in. When we got in there, they had kind of lightly stocked the
food,
the kitchen with some food and some beverages and things like that.
We got our dog food. Yeah. I mean, they were awesome. They were so good that they've kind of inspired us to
help out.
Like, we would love to be sponsors one day, and we thought, maybe we could make YouTube videos to help people out that are, over there wanting to come over here or needing to come over here and have a million questions. If we can help at least one person with one question, I feel like we're doing good.
Let's talk about cell phones and internet real quick.
I'm sure everybody is wanting to know, you've got a cell phone over there, is it going to work over here? What's the dealio with that? And dealio. Messed. Dealio. Aging myself?
30.
I'm 30, that's right. Your cell phones won't work over here. So you have to come over here and buy new cell phones. The companies that most people go through over here are SoftBank and AU. But from my understanding, SoftBank is...
They're like the T-Mobile.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. AU is kind of expensive. I wouldn't say terrible. It's kind of like Verizon prices. They also do the thing where you buy your phone and... They roll the payment of the phone into your monthly payment plan, and you don't own it for like 2 years or whatever the case may be. They've got iPhones, they've got Samsung Galaxies, they've got all that, the same stuff that we have over there. It just doesn't work here.
So more or less, you show up without cell phones. They're going to roll you into a 2-year contract. You get phones. We have 2 iPhone 6S's. What are the other features we have? I think we get like 5 or 6 gigs of data and unlimited calling, and I think we pay like $170 a month if you want to set up your phone to be able to call back to the States or so that they can call you, there's different apps like Magic Jack and Vonage and things like that you can download to get an American phone number. Literally, you can call that number like you would if we were stateside. It doesn't cost anybody back in the States any money, and you get to talk on the phone with them.
Yep. We also don't get unlimited texting here in Japan.
But just like in the States, if you're communicating iPhone to iPhone, not trying to plug Apple, it's always free because of iMessage.
Yep. You can also still FaceTime, and you can do audio FaceTime too. So you can, just pick up the phone and audio FaceTime, just like a regular phone call, another Apple iPhone user.
So I find it hard to believe that there is a monopoly here, but there is when it comes to cable and internet service. So there's this one company called MBC. It's like Mediati or Mediality. It kind of sounds Italian in Japan.
Yeah.
And the way their service works is you get internet wired into your home. You can get cable. You can get HD. Whatever you pick your poison. They have different plans set out, and they just give you the equipment, you hook it up, and you're up and running. It's pretty comparable in price to what your monthly bill would be back in the States. However, you don't get quite the selection.
A lot of the channels were in Japanese. And if they weren't in Japanese, they had subtitles all over them, or, it just wasn't worth it. So we decided to go with Hulu and Netflix.
No matter whether you buy a cable package or not, your house that you're going to be given if you live on base is already wired with basic AFN. So you get, it's like 9 or 10 channels. So if you needed to watch the news or like a weather report or something like that, you have those immediate forms of entertainment coming into your house. It's not HD, so it's pretty pixelated. It kind of looks like you're watching something from the 70s. But it's there. So we don't really get a chance to watch any of it anyway. The kids have hijacked everything, and by the time we put them to bed, we're tired ourselves.
Yeah.
Depending on the season that you arrive here, housing there's too many variables to really count on there being any kind of consistency to it. The one thing that is consistent is the rule of 98%. More or less, the government is obligated to house you in one of 2 approved locations for your duty assignment. The rule of 98% says that if the housing level is under 98%, you have to live on base. No way around it. You can't fight it. You just got to the island. You have to take a house on base.
2 choices. Pick one of the 2.
Right. They'll give you 2 choices, and they say, would you like A or would you like B? If you want to see some other videos that we've done about houses and things like that, we did a video of the house that we ended up taking and kind of how that process worked a little bit. Mm-hmm. Some people show up here and base housing is at 99%, and they say, go live off base.
Yep.
Which might be something that you want to do, and it also might be something that's very scary to you. We didn't have to deal with it. However, I have noticed by being off base that there are housing agencies everywhere.
All over.
They all say number 1 in Okinawa, and what they are is just a service that coordinates between you and the housing office on base
to get you a house.
To find you something off base that is within the allowable allowance that's being given to you. Mm-hmm. We were very fortunate when we got here. We got a house within a week of being here. Yeah. Cool. We have heard horror stories about people waiting months to get a house, so just be prepared for that. Either way, kind of be flexible with that. Anyway, that kind of concludes what it took for us to get here for the most part. I'm sure we missed a bajillion of your questions. Hopefully we answered some of them.
Yep.
So if you have any more questions, don't be afraid to send us an email or comment on
in the thread
down below, and we will do our best to answer them to the best of our ability. Deuces.
Thank you.